And this is A&B Convo's Wrestling Edition. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome to the most must-see wrestling review and live reaction show in all of YouTube. Welcome to A&B Convo's Wrestling Edition. But you already knew that because you're here. And as we said before, we are not just about reactions. We're not just about reviewing. We are expanding the brand. And we are going to be getting into the interview space. And we are so glad to be bringing you the continuation of that with our interview series that we call Conversations With. This is not just about interviews. We want to have a sit-down conversation, coffee talk, huh?
Coffee talk without the
just
coffee.
a little coffee talk. So we are very excited. And I think that's an understatement of the year. We have in our midst a legend, a Hall of Famer, and just a good old-fashioned American badass. And this is a family show, so we do not utilize that type of language here that often. But when I do, it is not done lightly. Mm-hmm. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and introduce to you Madusa. Some of you may know her as Alundra Blayze. We're going to pull her in right now and welcome Madusa to the show.
Woo! Hey, that's awesome. One taker. All right. Woo! Let's hear it for them. Yeah.
Practice this. I think we have some birthday streamers, but they were terrible. So my birthday was actually this past weekend for WrestleMania.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Thank you. Oh, if I may ask a quick favor before we start. I was going to do it at the end, but believe it or not, today is actually my mother's birthday. And my parents grew me up on wrestling, and my mother was one of your biggest fans. She actually made a belt that kind of resembled yours. She obviously didn't know how to get one at the time. She would love a happy birthday, maybe? Her name
Absolutely.
Is Millie.
Her name is?
Millie.
Absolutely. Millie, this is Madusa, and I want to say thank you for all of your support through all of these years and then educating your kids to watch pro wrestling. And I just want to give you a big shout out to a happy birthday to an amazing mom and a friend and all of those in between. Happy birthday, Millie.
Wow.
She's going to love that. She's going to love that. Thank you so much.
How are you
You're
today?
welcome. I'm fabulous. Actually, this must have been social or just interview day because Cody's got me back to back. So, I mean, I'm in rare form, so my mind is lit. It takes, but I did hear you read my book, so that's good.
Yes. So I am halfway through the book and I could not put it down. Do you want us to call you Madusa? Do you want us to call you Deborah? What is comfortable for you?
Whatever you feel like you know me as, that's fine. Madusa, Deborah. I've been called a few things, but hey, wait till you keep reading on. I'm sure you'll see. Well, that was the whole idea of the book. When this book has been written, being written for the last 40 years. And I've tried to publish it probably 3 or 4 times, and it just wasn't that right time. Timing. Timing is absolutely everything. And it just wasn't the time. And then when it was pandemic time, what else do you do with your significant other besides have lots of sex and write a book? So,
or start a YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. God bless you guys. Let me tell you, during the pandemic, not only do you have lots of sex with your partner and write a book, but you also start YouTube. And I didn't know anything about Twitch. So what did I do? I order everything I needed, all my gaming, everything, all my monitors. And I've been Twitching I don't know, 2 years. Got 3,000 followers on Twitch and I game. It's like, what? Let me tell you, editing is no joke, is it? It takes, oh my gosh. God bless the people that edit for a living because it is, I couldn't do it. But so... Whew, thank God you guys do. I'm going to hire you. Hey, you want to edit all my stuff?
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but we're hoping that we can make it there. And we're making it somewhere because the fact that you're here is just we're so honored.
Well, thank you. I love your backdrop. I love WWE. I love wrestling. I love all of them, in fact, because every organization is different. And so, when I first started, reading the book, my book does not start like, "Hi, my name is Deborah. I grew up in Minnesota." Da, da, da. No, it starts with boom, boom, boom. Right. And it just keeps you interested because it jumps back and forth from chapter 1 to chapter 10, then back to 2, and then back to 1. And it just keeps you engaged. Though when ECW Press approached me, and it was John Arezzi with the contact, I said I was kind of reluctant, and I just, I don't know if this is a good time. It's like this writing this book was like peeling back an onion and reliving everything, and and it's like, do I really want to put my life out there? Because once it's out there, it's out there. And I'm thinking, you know what? I have chose for this long not to do anything, not to put it out. I don't put heavy personal anything out there on social media. And I think that's why the book is doing so well, is because for this long, nobody knew anything except the same interview I'd always do for the last 40 years, but I would change up the words. And so when I hired Greg to help me write the book, I told him, I said, I need a twist on it. I needed to, like, when people are reading it, to feel like I'm talking to them.
Yes.
And that was and that's the biggest response I've received so far, is that everyone feels like I'm talking to them, and that's what I wanted. So Greg captured that. Excellent. And plus, it's ADHD USA. I put USA like MAD USA because I'm all over the place. Right. And it makes sense, though. It makes sense, right?
Well, I keep up with it because I also am ADHD. And so that's already how my mind works. So
oh, that was good. Good.
For me, I could go from here to here to here and back.
Not my husband. Not my husband is military, 31 years structure, but he said it was such a well-written book that it was great. And he's so highly intelligent, but it was just, what an amazing man. Then there was the next thing I wanted to do with the book, and is that I need a foreword. And I was talking to Paul, because Paul Heyman, he wrote the foreword for the book. I mean, we've been friends since day one of my best friends. And so I was talking to him, and he's like, Deuce, do you have a title for your book yet? And I'm like, I got 2, and I just don't know which one. And he goes, The Woman Who Would Be King. I'm like, what? He goes, The Woman Who Would Be King. I'm like, oh my God, that is perfect. And that's how the title, I don't know if you got to that yet in the book, but spoiler alert.
It's awesome. Because we have Becky being the man, but before Becky was the man, you were the king. And
thanks.
What you did, and especially because, so also we have a lot in common. First of all, I love Lucy. I love Lucy.
You do? Oh my God, I love her.
This is a backdrop. This is
I have Lucy
elsewhere.
dolls and stuff.
Really?
I'm obsessed with Lucy.
Did you watch her movie? Did you watch her movie on Netflix?
I did.
Oh my God.
I did. There was 2. There was the one that was like the reenactment that Nicole Kidman did, and then there was the documentary where they always filmed behind the scenes. Did you see that?
No, I saw the one with Nicole Kidman. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
Excellent.
But it kind of made me sad, because what I love about Lucy is like how wrestling, we know what it is, but don't drop the curtain. We kind of want to be invested in it, but we're past that. With Lucy, there was my fantasy, because I didn't have that, to kind of have this fantasy life of being funny and a great relationship with a guy and great friends. And so when I found out what was going on behind the scenes, I'm like, you're ruining it for me.
Wow. Isn't that sad though?
Yeah.
It was just, again, it parallels to way every industry was basically for women. I'm just going to say it. I'll say it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There.
And the fact that
Hands
you
down.
stuck in there and blazed that trail. Alundra Blayze was the perfect name.
Wow. Yeah.
You just did not let because it's one thing to face bullying growing up, which I also did. And then you kind of become a bully, which I also did. We have so much in common. It's insane.
Oh my God. I feel like a sister from another mother.
I also have an overactive fight and flight response. But mine is actually stuck permanently. So I'm always in fight or flight mode. I'm actually getting a shot on May 6th that is supposed to block the message from your brain to your body.
Wait a minute. We'll have to talk on the back end. Really?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, because I am continuously
on the back end. But what the difference is, you're an adrenaline junkie, whereas I have so much adrenaline every day. I can't watch a scary movie or even watch the news because I'm already like, so hyped up that everything hurts me, and it like,
See, that's my forte on Twitch is horror games. Like I am a horror flick girl. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a daughter on Twitch who she likes stuff like that too, and I'm like, I want to watch you, but it scares me.
Okay. I usually do fun games though too, and they're puzzle games. So
good.
If you read, I don't know how far you got in the 11th chapter. Okay,
I got to the monster truck chapter.
Oh, wait till you get to that. It's like monster trucks, 20 years of that. No one, even the wrestling world, really paid attention. Like they're like, you did what? I'm like, where you been for 20 years?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was. But it was like jumping back in time with monster trucks. And it was a time where they didn't have any women drivers. They didn't have any, no women in the stands. They didn't have any of that. And I had to relive it, like jump it back in the 80s. And let me tell you about the pay. It was worse than wrestling. It was just,
really?
Gosh.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you.
You did all this and you were barely paid anything for all of that. You kept, because you just were bullied really by these men through each industry.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Even in Japan, you were with all women. But because you were the blonde, whatever,
they assumed,
for a while until you earn the respect. But you can only be there so long because you have to retire at 26?
It was like 26 or 25 or something. I'm like, boy, they hated me coming in because I was 26 coming in or something,
Right. So just reading all that, it's like you have lived so many lives. It's really like around the world. And then like, you're just, then I lived here. And then now I lived here. And then I moved back over here. And I'm like, you just really like, were not afraid.
I did not have a choice. I knew that.
You couldn't fall back on your parents. So.
No. Yeah. I didn't have a choice. What do you do? Either you fall completely and you lose everything you fought for, or you move forward. And I didn't know what forward was. And to me, what I'm trying to say is in this message, and the responses are good as far as motivating, is that I didn't know what my message was. So the fear of not knowing was the fear. But yet I embraced fear. And it was amazing because it kept me who I was, and it kept my integrity intact. And with all of the tragedy to triumphs to, it honed who I was. One thing I did was I kept my integrity intact. And I have seen in this business, both of them, that people just sold their soul. Yeah. And it's sad. Yeah. And let me tell you, when you're pushed up against a wall and you can't feed your family, and you make decisions sometimes. You've got to make decisions on what's right and what's wrong. And I could have sold myself to the streets. I could have chose drugs.
Right.
I could have this, I could have that. I don't know what kept me going except for that fight. The fight of the fear of becoming who I was and how I was raised in the past, my environment. And I truly believe you are a product of your environment because you become that if you let it and you choose.
Yeah, you have to fight.
You do. If you're surrounded with crap, you become crap. And in negativity, and people can say what they want, but I'm not closed to closing bad situations or people in my life.
Right.
Not at all. I'm at an age where I can make those own decisions and don't have to worry about it. Right. And a lot of people say, well, you have legs to stand on now. You've made money and you can do whatever you want. It's not true. It's not true. Yeah. I still got to be careful with decisions.
Absolutely.
And the people I choose, I'm going to use this word, that I choose to be in my life. And I'm very careful at things, not walking on eggshells or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I really choose the environment I decide I want to be in.
Oh, and how important is that? Like your mental health, if you for having a childhood like you did, where no one showed you that you were valued, nobody showed you what your worth was. You're trying to fight to figure out to prove your own self-worth, and so whenever we have that, that's why we struggle with rejection issues, because that's hitting close to home because you already feel like you don't have value, right? And
Correct.
then as you get older, you now go into an industry where you're being treated less than, second class at best, which actually leads me into the question. So with your situation at WCW and your indecent proposal situation that happened there, do you really feel like it's that far-fetched that Vince and John Laurinaitis didn't have their own same situations? I mean, won't boys be boys? Isn't that the mentality that everyone had back then?
That was the mentality. Boys will be boys. It was told to me many a times by many of the boys in the business. And I've seen things and heard things. And I also spoke up.
Yeah.
And that's why I probably was stifled and silenced and never made that big paycheck or ever. Whenever I did speak up, you can tell in my career how many times it was doing this.
Right.
Because it is what it is, people. You can watch it all over YouTube.
Right.
The reason why I say that and I have no rebuttal is because of my performance as a talent. I delivered. I delivered. I was good. I was good. I was damn good. Or I was only as good as my team, right?
Yeah,
I am talent. And I can only deliver so much that I'm allowed. And what I mean by that is number 2 is the company. The company, the creators, the writers. So not only do you have a talent that was, I feel, badass myself. I'm going to just have to say that. I was way ahead of my time.
Yeah.
And then the company not writing scripts like they're supposed to or promised to me, like, hey, we're going to have a women's division in WCW. We're going to build all this stuff around you and you can become champion. That never happened.
Right.
And number 3, I'm only as good as the ring and the people that put up the ring, because if those ropes break or the ring breaks, my match is crap. Right. So all together, we're a team. Yeah. And so, I put in my work. I delivered to every single promoter in this business as far as my expertise in the ring. And let me tell you, just back to what you were saying, you're right. I was good to wrestling. Wrestling wasn't good to me. So is that your dog? I hear a dog.
It is. So we have a channel mascot. Her name is Bonecrusher, and she's a Shih Tzu Terrier. She's all bark and no bite.
Daisy, I want to show you on there.
Here she is, right here. Come here.
Let me see. Daisy girl. Daisy girl.
Oh, our dog.
Oh, look it. Oh, look, hello.
There we go. We have no idea what she was barking at. She's a great alert dog.
Hi.
There's a fire. There's a break-in. She'll let you know.
Oh, they're the greatest, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's so, a bit of a COVID dog. So.
You're A, you're B, and that's convo. No.
Yeah, right now she's the combo. Yeah.
Yes.
She was saying some stuff. I hope. Is Timmy stuck in a well? I don't really.
Oh no!
Bonecrusher.
Come here, Daisy.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You may be stuck in the eggs, but she's not all pink, so we do have that going for us.
I get little kisses.
Adorable. Oh my gosh.
She's lots of hair. You can't just see it. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, we just had her shaved up a little bit. She was a moppy floppy mess. Very photogenic, but yeah, I totally get it. Adorable.
So with wrestling, since we're talking about that, is that during the time in wrestling, you never knew what wrestling was going to do for you. So on that fight or flight type of thing, I always had a backup, meaning, oh my God, I don't know. I mean, it was such a pinnacle down, and I don't know if this is going to last forever, so I better do something. So I said, okay, I'm going to put myself through school and I'm going to become a groomer, and I became a master groomer for dogs. And so I opened up my own brick and mortar called Cool Cats and Hot Dogs. And and been grooming animals for the last 20 years. And I just closed my last brick and mortar only because my husband and we moved to Germany, and then trying to run a business from Germany, it's like it just doesn't work. It don't work. Whatever. But also during that time, I think it was 2014 or somewhere around then, I said, I really love health, and I've always been involved in that and eating well, and so I'm going to go be a yogi. So I went and lived on an island for a while and became a yoga instructor, and I just had to have backups because it was that fight or flight. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
How am I going to make ends meet?
You got to have a hustle at all times.
That's one of the things in pro wrestling that we see all the time, where this is all that they know. You see, well, I've always wanted to be a wrestler since I was a kid. And then once it gets to a point where you go, okay, I don't know if I can go anymore. I don't really have anything else to fall back on. But you definitely had a lot of backup plans along the way, which is great.
I did. Now, my relationships weren't backup plans, but they didn't go well. But I had to level out the field. But I mean, some choices were good, some weren't.
But it helped to bring you to where you are today. You have a wonderful man.
Oh my God, my husband's amazing. Yes.
Can you say the same?
Yeah, you're amazing.
Wait, I was waiting. Why are guys? I'm waiting for that too. And then our personality, like her and I, are probably like, we already know this. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you're great. You're great. You're stroke the ego a little bit.
Oh, okay. So the wrestling, when I made that transition from wrestling into monster trucks, it was about 99, and I already had it with wrestling. I didn't like the direction that they were going and how women were being portrayed, and I was working so hard, and they had me in these damn evening gown matches and this barbecue crap, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm out. Peace out."
Yeah. You really think I really wanted this evening gown match? Well, everybody behind here can really kiss my ass, you know what I mean? 20 years, I'm done. I've had it. And then all of a sudden I get a call out of the blue from Mike Weber, and he's like, "Hey, you want to be a monster truck driver?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And the rest is in my book because you're about to read it. I can't tell you. But it is so good.
And we're in honor of you, when we're done, we are going to get a monster truck that will make it onto the set as a person.
Wait, you got to get one of mine on eBay.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to find one of your actual trucks.
We can. We can get it on eBay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They don't sell them in stores no more, but it's Hot Wheels. It's a Hot Wheels Medusa truck. If I had a bunch left, I'd send you one. But yeah, you just have to, if you see one on eBay.
A done deal.
That has to make the set.
That's a
and then if I'm ever in your area, what state are you in?
We're in Los Angeles, California.
I was just there. How come I didn't see you?
You were here this weekend. I told him, I was like, "Do you think she's here?" Because what we did was we went to SmackDown, and then we went to Hall of Fame, and which Stacy Keibler gave you your props for training her.
Yeah, I heard. I was supposed to be there. Like they called and they're like, "Deuce, not Deuce, Blayze, would you like to come to? We'd really like for you to be at the Hall of Fame." And I'm like, "I can't. You're just they called me a week beforehand."
Oh, wow.
But they do that. They do that to a lot of people.
So were you at
what?
Were you at WrestleCon?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
For my book. The first signing of my book. So if you get the book, or if you get a monster truck, and if I'm in town anytime, and we find out whatever, definitely come by, and I'd love to meet you and sign it. Heck yeah.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
There are, whenever we try to watch stuff that's back like in the Attitude Era in those days, like I also have to mute it because it ruins what's going on for me with how degrading and disgusting the comments were. It was just,
and they thought they were just being a heel, but I'm telling you, that was 24/7 of life.
No, that's just who you are. I love how you just rose above and you just kept your head high and just did your thing.
If there's anything I can do on the backside, just let me know. I mean, it's still, even seeing these people and running into them, I bite my lip. And because it was so long ago, and usually when I do see them, and it's in a setting where it's not appropriate at that time. I mean, But at this point, there's nothing for me to address it because I've already addressed every single one of them personally myself. And there's, to make a scene out of it, even if it was them reading my book now, because I changed a lot of the names and I told stories without saying the names.
I told him, I was like, I'm going to cross-reference who was at WWE.
I knew.
And then who was at WCW, and then who she mentioned that she was cool with, so I can figure out.
Wait, I want to see that board. I want to see that detective board on the wall when you have the strings lining it up. No, oh my God.
Figure out who this person was.
I want to walk in this again. She's like, I'm so close.
With the little pins in the string.
Exactly.
I love it. I would love that. Would be a great segment. Okay. Every segment for like 2 minutes, you'd be like, okay, Madusa's book, the picture, and here's the lines. You know what I mean?
And this is what I have figured out.
Yes. And then I'll come back on and I'll say, close, no, maybe.
So can we bring you to today's wrestling?
Okay.
Now, I mean, I know that you're an upfront straight person, but you're also under a Legends contract, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm assuming that you probably, I don't know how.
Tread lightly.
I don't know how, but honestly, so for all of us YouTubers in YouTube land, when Vince retired, we were like, woohoo! Finally, because you're ruining your own product. You're crapping all over it. We were disgusted with how bad it was doing and just watching it go downhill. Triple H and Stephanie come in and they start bringing back people. We were glad that we were heartbroken that they were let go. So glad they were coming back. Things are starting to turn around. They bring Bray Wyatt back. They do this whole elaborate thing. And then Vince does his behind the scene thing. And now you have a parent company, which is brand new. Triple H comes out and does this beautiful speech, but it almost sounded like
an apology.
Contrived, maybe, yeah.
But it sounded almost apologetic, almost like he was unsure. I don't know, but I didn't feel as confident as he was acting at the end of that. But his thing was WWE is going nowhere. And by the end of the show, WWE went
the train
some damn where. Right.
We'll just leave it there.
Right.
However, I do want to say I think it's amazing. And congratulations to Endeavor and WWE. Now, just hear me out because I love when people can have good conversations. Yeah. Now, you voiced everything how you felt and how you saw it, how you perceived. So here's my vision. Congratulations on WWE and Endeavor. And why do I say that? Is because I've lived through parenting situations and companies merging all through Monster Jam. Now, Monster Jam merged with a new company every 2 to 3 years. We're talking big companies like when they merged with Clear Channel and Pace Motorsports. And so whenever that happened, the rumble in the back was, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, we're going to get fired. And it was keeping the minions at bay, but yet they still rose to the top basically. And at the end of the day, nothing happened, right? So, but yet the people that actually merged with another parent company, it just made the whole situation better. So here's the rise and fall of any situation with anything, I feel, is that it's how it's handled. Vince is a success and WWE is a success because of Vince's vision. You can say what you want, but it has not hit its pinnacle through all of these years if it wasn't for the direction of good or bad, because I don't agree with everything. No, I don't. But it worked for that time, sign of the times, and that eras. It was handed to him and bought, I think, for $1 million from his daddy or something, or his daddy bought it for, I don't know how that actually went.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. So, and then how long has he had it? Forever, like 30 something years, right? Or something. And so I feel that everybody's going to rise and fall in your business, and either it's good or bad, tragedies to triumphs and whatnot, and overcoming adversity, right? I feel that the things that were happening were already pre-planned within WWE and within the organization, that they knew way long before we did what was going to happen, because those things don't happen and they take planning for about a year or two out.
You're talking about the Endeavor purchase?
That and previous things happening with, the whole Vince situation and et cetera.
Okay.
So I was always a company girl. I was a Vince's girl. Vince never said or did any lascivious acts to me. I was a product of the brand, and that's why I was hired, because I delivered and I was there. I was on time. I did my job. And then one day I was going to work and the door knocked and it was FedEx, and it was a letter saying, "We no longer need your services."
Right.
Out of the blue. And that's all in the book, by the way. It gets really in depth. Yeah. And so again, I was hurt. I was confused. And I was a little angry because I didn't understand. I didn't understand because I was that company girl, but I understood business, and business was changing about that time. And I wasn't that girl to do the acts that they wanted to do mud wrestling, to do all of that. And they felt my fight, basically. Yeah. So they were changing and going in another direction. I didn't understand it then, but I understood it later. And which everyone does later, you finally come to a realization like, okay, not that it was okay, but okay, I understand, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it's hard to accept. It's hard to accept when you get let go or dropped, or why don't they like me anymore, and stuff like that. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, definitely. As far as today, fast forward, when Tripp walked in and WWE was on fire and things were good, things got better. And with him involved or whatever, right? And so people think automatically just because Paul showed up, it was an instant success. No, it took time and years to develop everything that was going and happening. And he actually took a product that was already happening and just kind of changed a few things and brought some talent in again, right? Mm-hmm. Again, once the talent came in, we saw, a whole, just a whole mass of people coming in that got lost again.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was on Paul too. So, but Paul was trying to do good by bringing them back and doing things. But again, here we have this cluster of how come we don't have enough storylines? Because there's a lot of people. How come we're not being used? Because there's a lot of people now. So if you balance it out, sometimes we would have had maybe a better storyline or product if we had, who knows? I don't know. But people are quick to change with the wind and what's right and okay for them at that moment. But I like to do my facts and history checking and, stuff like that. I think that if you are a 9.13 billion company, is which Vince built, he built that. That company and everybody involved through all these years built that. And then for you to merge and become a $23.6 billion company, all I'm going to say is life just got better, because now you're this huge conglomerate and you're going to be able to do more things. That's how I look at things, you guys. I look at it as a positive, because if I sat here and looked at it as, oh my God, it's horrible, it's awful, what am I, I got to have an open mind, and I always have through my life. And whatever they throw me, if I was involved with them like that as a talent, that's how I would look at it. Yeah. And I definitely would jump 2 feet in and be ready for change. Again, people hate change. They don't like it, but it's the best thing that can happen to a human being, because it electrifies, it's vibrant, it creates, it stimulates. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be stagnant, as you know. But let's see what happens.
Endeavor, parting with them is fine. Vince coming back and getting on the microphone and taking over creative and rewriting at the last minute. And Brock Lesnar literally stepped all 268 pounds on that man's larynx. I mean, that's not protecting your partner. That's not, to me, he looked like he was roid raging. I kid you not. That's all it looked like to me, was a bully who was roid raging. And Vince, to me, looked like he was getting a revenge on the person who started AEW. That's what it
So
looked
two
like.
things as I say this, because there was another one in another interview that asked me the same. Didn't really ask, but expressed your feelings.
Yeah.
So there's two things here, guys. I don't know the answer like you don't. And we can sit here and speculate all we want.
Nobody knows how it made us feel.
Yeah. How it made you feel. Right. Your feelings. Now, if we look at the product, it could be one hell of a receipt, or it could be the second best storyline ever. So if you think about it, I'm going to go by what you were saying, Beck. Things change, times change, and we have to evolve. So let's just think about this 1 second. The Bloodline's been running for a long time, and I got to say, it's probably one of the longest, best storylines I've seen in a long time. And I don't care what anyone says, it worked. It worked. It's one of the best long reigning between Hulk Hogan and Macho Man back in the day, right? And so I said the best thing they can do is not run with a Cody Sami Zayn, is that they need a Sami Zayn his own to win this. And it was the best thing ever. And oh my gosh. So for the Bloodline to win on Cody, they know they're betting on Cody. They know what they got with Cody. And I'm going to just say this, guys. Cody is a company man. Doesn't matter what companies he's with, but he's a company man.
Yeah.
And the second thing is he's damn good. And guess what? He's young. He's amazing. He's a great face for the company of the future.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is that there's two things. Either it's a good receipt, or two, they're building him to be that. So what do you do with a product like that? Is that you beat him down so bad that it surprises everybody and pisses everybody off, and Roman Reigns becomes the best heel ever, and Brock Lesnar, for nothing but to have Cody rise and have the biggest pop of his life.
And that was my main thing, was like, is he out injured again? Like, he looked completely out of control. He didn't look like he was protecting the person he was in the ring with, to me.
Does he ever, though? I'll just say that.
I think, but that's kind of my thing with Brock Lesnar, is the double standard, because we heard a lot about Nia Jax. People constantly talk about Nia Jax hurting her opponent, but you never hear people talk about Brock. Well, it's Brock. What the hell does that mean? It's professional wrestling. It's not UFC. Because you just really went berserk.
You hope it does not. It isn't that way. Like I was saying, there's two. It could be one hell of a receipt, because you said Vince popped in and he may be payback, like a receipt. That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Or number two, it's one of the best stories. I'll tell you, if it's a story and he's not hurt, it'll go down in history, because it worked 90% of the people.
For sure.
But I mean, Brock, I'm not saying it's okay. You know, I will tell you, here's another thing. I worked with Nia. I was in the ring with Nia with the Battle Royale. She had to throw me over the top rope. And let me tell you, she did not hurt me.
Yeah.
So there's that.
You are tough also. And and that's what I want to say about women who go to Japan and wrestle. And like you said, sometimes it was real. And you just did what you had to do. And we have a whole bunch of B-player women on the roster right now who do not want you to hit them too hard. Look, you hit me too hard. Like, Total Divas showed us way too much behind the scene.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you are way too prissy to be in the ring. If you don't want to get hit, don't be in the damn ring. But then you have women going out there that you look like you're running a practice behind the ropes, behind the rings. You didn't come anywhere near their face, and she's still reacting and falling back. We can see that she was 3 inches from you. If she didn't touch you, just don't react to it, and then do it again or something. Like,
I hear that you're very, Beck, I hear that you're very passionate, and I'll have to agree. If someone misses a punch, I'm not taking a bump, and that's just my old school. Yeah. I'm telling, what I used to do is, like, some of the girls that would swing at me, and if it wasn't believable, I'd just stand straight up and say, "Bitch, hit me again. What are you doing?" And I would just come straight out and yell it at her, and the look on their face, you'll see it a lot in my matches. I'm like, "Come on. What are you doing, you idiot? Hit me." Yeah, well,
let me ask you this. We are big proponents of the women's division. We say this in almost every show that we do. And obviously being on this side of the fence, you being as involved in it with different promotions along the way, you have a much better take on what it takes to be a pro wrestler and to train these ladies. Now, I know you've trained these ladies as well. So let's just say you get a call and they say, Madusa, we want to inject.
They would say Alundra Blayze. Go ahead.
Deborah, we want to inject a new life into the women's division. We want you to run it. You have carte blanche. The only person you report to is, let's just say, Paul. And we want you to get in here from the ground up. We want a whole new women's division. What do you do? What do you think it would take to get people to pay attention to the women's division if you were to take over?
Okay, a good question, and I'm going to follow that with something, and that was with what Charlotte said. She has said in an interview recently, is like, look, the person that wins the men's battle royal, they get an automatic position, whatever main event, right, for WrestleMania. Why don't the women? Okay, so hear me out. I'm a woman, I'm an advocate, but hear me out. The truth is the truth. Sometimes people don't like to hear the truth, but this is just mine. I'm not trying to convince. This is my vision. So I agree with her. However, you got to be able to own that spot. And I don't know if there is strong enough situations, angles, and to actually headline the main WrestleMania. And I say that with such respect, meaning, again, I'm going to circle back for all you clickbaits out there that are going to take my stuff out of context, is that the women that have struggled so hard to get where they're at is only a reflection of the total package.
Right.
There's a great handful of women that are excellent wrestlers, but you're only as good as your creative writers who write these damn scripts and angles. Meaning the Bloodline has been going on for a year, for a freaking year, and it is one of the best written. And a lot of it was, I'm sure, was ad-libbing off the cuff and changed, but it was an idea of what they had, and they've been going on for a year. Women don't have that. Can you tell me one angle that's last 3-4 months in a women?
Exactly.
Not one. And so if you could give me a women's angle and write a script and a storyline, those women could headline.
Yeah.
They're only as good as their product.
Right.
But right now they don't have that product. So I'm trying to say this and collect my correct words. It's not the women themselves. We always keep losing that. It's the product. They're not given. Because there is talented women nowadays that probably could headline WrestleMania every year.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to, I challenge WWE to do that after this WrestleMania, to start a great year's angle with some women so they can headline WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
So I see it as if they continue not to, it's a failure within their part, because we have women that are able to do that. But now you got to have women that are believable.
Yeah.
That can, talk the walk, that when they do cut that promo, it's believable, and they carry it out all the way through on their social media. Yeah. I mean, it has to be legit. You can't just have, this is me showing my boobs on one day and then I'm doing this on another. Either you're in it or you're not. And if you are, you need to separate yourself and have another handle on something else on social media. So the thing is, the problem with that is that they own the likeness of everything. The tone of your voice, the blinking of your eyes, your hair color. I mean, that's it. So when you go into contract and this is your dream and you're there, you already know you signed up for everything. Right. So when you come into conflict with WWE, it's not their damn fault. You know what you're signing up for. So if you choose to do this or that or have an extra page in your gambling when it's against the law and you can't do it or whatever. I'm just throwing something out there.
Yeah.
Then don't do it. You know better. And then your ass is fired, right? So all the way back to the women, it is a choice. But the choice is amongst behind the scenes and the creative writing to make it happen. Period.
So if you took over, you would make sure that there was writers that were working.
You're down. I'm going to start right there because I know there's women that can do the job. Absolutely. Boy, I'd love to sit down. What I would do is I'd sit down and get to know my whole roster.
Right.
And I would love to talk to each one because that's going to tell me a lot as a person. And I can see through the bullshit because I've been there, seen it, heard it, whatever. And then, you know, the people that are very passionate. Of course, every single one of them are probably passionate. But you're going to get more of a feel of the person and where they're at.
Right.
And I'll be able to tell, you know, a whole structure of the person by their demeanor and, you know, how they handle themselves.
Yeah.
Remember that your character is worth $1 million. Your character person, yes.
Exactly.
So in 2023, the fact that we're still talking about this and we have these hashtags, give divas a chance and women, WWE women deserve better, stuff like that. I think I'm kind of surprised that we're still talking about sort of, I guess women should get better storytelling and they should be in better character formations. I mean,
not have 30-second matches.
What do you think it's going to take now for that to happen?
You can't make any company do what you want.
Yeah.
They have their rules and regulations, and if they choose to keep it this way, then they choose to do it that way. But it's unfortunate, right? Because you want to see the best for both. And that's, we fought really hard to rise above this. When I started, my name wasn't even on the marquee. I'd be Ann Moore. So I fought so hard to even have my name on a piece of paper. And look where we're at now. We're headlining, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've come a long way, baby.
And Rita's match to me was better than the Usos and Kate. Now I understand that that was a more emotional match because of Sammy and the Usos. But I felt like Charlotte and Rhea went out there and was like, we're going to show why we're still going to be the match we talk about.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. The first half of their match was good, but the second half of their match was better. Period.
Yeah. Better.
I'm just saying their false finishes was the best thing of the match.
Oh,
and
for sure.
There we go. False finishes. I keep saying
that.
That's what we're looking for Brock and Omos. Didn't have one.
No, that was like fast and ridiculous.
Right? So
with who? Brock and Oma? Yeah.
So I know we've heard wrestlers say all the time in their promos, you want to get into the business, you want to be a champion at some point in your career. But we also said not every person, whether it's male or female, can be the person. You can't necessarily be the champion, the face of the company.
Right. If you're a champion, it's for a reason. And that reason is you are chosen. You're the chosen one from the company. And why? Is because they believe in you. They believe in you to carry the company in that time, in that situation. That's what this is about. This is entertainment. You don't win nothing in wrestling.
No.
It's actually, it is chosen.
Yeah.
It's a chosen. Yeah. And so.
That shows respect.
Absolutely.
So my question is, in AEW, which I don't know how much of that you watch, but we have the TBS champion, Jade Cargill, which is sort of, it's not the women's AEW champion, but it's, you know, like the Intercontinental champion, if you will, just one step below. WWE doesn't have that. And I feel that is needed
for the women.
Do you think so or no?
We have a lot of championships, right?
Yeah.
So, and they don't do much with the tag teams anyway. So I don't even know why would we need another one if we can't fix what we have? We've got to get this fixed and getting good storylines and things rolling. And then once things are cohesive, then we need to start moving forward. I think we need to look at the problem, fix that, and then things will start blooming. Absolutely. And with AEW is the same thing. You have some amazing freaking talent over there, but it just seems chaotic and lost, and that women's division deserves so much more.
Yeah.
And they write their own storylines over there, don't they? Well, I know they did in the beginning. I don't know if they don't now, but I remember.
I don't think anyone knows over there. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, right. I think Jericho said in the beginning that they were writing their own storylines. I don't know if they're still doing that, but
that's dangerous because if you write your own story, there's only one person that's always on TV representing.
Which is why Jericho always has something going, because he's always trying to bring up the young comings, but they're all.
I love Jericho, though. Yeah. You got to admit, man, for a man of his age, kicking ass on both, just both. I mean, kind of like I was, Monster Trucks. Now he's got singing and wrestling and Monster Trucks and wrestling. Yeah. So there's very few people that are able to transition over. Yeah. And I don't know what that is, but I mean, boy, he did it. I mean, I just look over the bigger picture and
very talented.
Hats off to him, really.
So ultimately, in 20 years down the line, and we have the opportunity to speak with you again.
What, to step in the ring and wrestle? Come on, babe.
No. I mean, if you wanted to, but, which we wouldn't be minding, we wouldn't be not seeing.
No, I'd be teaming up with Beck, and you'd have to find your own partner. That's it.
Yeah, see, can I be the Paulie Dangerously of that at least?
Yeah, Paul will bring his. Yes, Paul will bring his phone. You know. You were going to ask me a question. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just thinking, where would you hope, rather, the pro wrestling industry would be in another 20 years?
On Starlink on the moon?
To the moon!
Through Starlink on the moon. That's funny. I can't even.
We're trying to colonize it. I'm telling you, we can get a pro wrestling ring in the middle of Aquarius right there.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, the way it's going, I remember I was a kid. I'm like, I want to live until the world becomes the Jetsons. Shit, we're almost there.
No, we're not there. We were promised flying cars at this point.
Oh, that's right.
None.
Wait, we're close.
Created flying cars, but they have not figured out how it would not be so dangerous.
Well, if you break down, you just fall from the sky.
Right. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. If it's automatic flying cars, you pre-program it before you start drinking. That way, you'll never see another DUI again.
Exactly.
See,
woo!
Exactly. That's
that. I see the jetpacks. If I could just have that would actually be really cool.
We
might have been able to do WrestleCon and then make it back in time.
See? Teleport like the Trekkies.
He is a Trekkie.
Are you a Trekkie?
Open up the door.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Full on.
All right. We'll let you go. You cannot transport plasma yet that I know of, so I don't know.
It's a dangerous substance. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
Well, we better wrap this up. I know you have another interview.
Yes, I was just looking. It's at 4. I'm just got a couple minutes.
Aside from the book tour, what else have you got going on right now? What's coming up?
Well, I just finished a movie. It's called Champion, and long story. It's in my book. If you haven't gotten there yet, I know that's the new hashtag. It's in my book.
It's in my book.
But I started off in movies. I did Shoot Fighter 2. I did Intersanction. I did Street Fighter. Whatever. I did a lot of fight movies way back before you guys were born, I believe. But from then, I went into wrestling. And so full circle, I just got back into doing some movies. They approached me, and I'm like, hell yeah. So this movie Champion actually now turned into a series. I think we're getting picked up. But we showed it at WrestleCon on Friday night, and a lot of people showed up. It was so good, guys. I was just like looking at myself acting, going, oh my God, that's me. I still got it. I still got it. So,
yes, you do.
So so now I'm really focusing on that and reading sides and stuff. And of course, my book tour is it's gonna take up for the whole rest of the year, really, and just doing a lot of little things like that.
Wow.
Are you coming back to LA for the book tour, or was your time at WrestleCon, that was your time in LA for the
Well, that was the beginning kickoff, and I just got another. I don't have to ask Cody. They were gonna come and bring me back on the 22nd, but I don't know if that's going through or not. But if it is, just keep your eye on my website. It'll be on the calendar, and then we'll definitely hook up.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, that would be so awesome.
You guys are amazing people, and what a great couple. You guys feed off well. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys feed well off of each other, and I wish you so much success. I really do.
You are our first big interview, and we are
Oh.
blown away that it's you. Like, what an honor.
Oh, you guys, is that your own T-shirt? You should have a shirt saying,
Yeah. This is Join the Convo, and this,
Okay.
this is me, and this is him.
"Oh," and then you have an arrow. You should have an arrow. I'm his better half, and he's my better half.
I literally call her my better half. And where were we? I think it was it a doctor's office or something, or a dentist or something? I said, "This is my better half," and the guy goes, "There you go. That's a smart husband."
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
How long you guys been?
We're going on 20
This year will be
years.
20 years.
20 years. Holy God bless you guys. That is
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, you don't hear about that so often with young couples. I call you
No.
young. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
it's you learn a lot, pitfalls, up and down.
Amen.
But came back around, and we're much better people and much better.
Same
people.
here. Wait till you read the whole incident about. Yeah, I can't say. Anyway, I gotta go.
Yes,
We're gonna
and
read the
get
book.
back into it.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Oh, you guys. Thank you so much. Tell your puppy Daisy says bye. Oh, she's right here, passed out.
That was an amazing, amazing, amazing interview, conversation with Madusa.
It was.
Some may know her as Alundra Blayze. Paul Heyman knows her as Deuce, I believe.
Deuce, yeah.
Deuce!
A lot of people in the industry call her Deuce, apparently.
And I think at this point, we feel like we can call her Deborah. I think we're here.
Yeah, that's my sister from another mister. Yeah.
She was accidentally cut off just a little too short. So if you see this, I do apologize. I did not mean to do that. But nevertheless, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your wisdom, your history, what you have going on. Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
But that's more to come. There's more to come. This is only the beginning.
Baby.
For A&B Combos Wrestling Edition, dude.
I can't
Watch
do my
out.
voice.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. That's scary.
No, okay.
Fair enough. Thank you, guys. And we will catch you all,
Next video.
or in honor of what we're, the women, we'll bid you,
Do.
because she is missing. Am I right? Again.
I don't know.
Again. Good night, guys.
Good night.